Hi guys, welcome back to SwitchUp. I'm Mark Walker. Each month we're giving away a free game to the subscriber who's actively engaging with the SwitchUp family down in the comments. Now, some games have a great concept and are executed with precision. Hollow Knight is a great example. It takes a pretty old concept and injects it with new life. Other games try to do that, but what the hell is that noise? Oh no, that can't be a good sign. Let's find out. Where better to start with our Paranautical Activity review than the music? I don't know what to say here really. Music is incredibly loud and just doesn't seem to end. Each track just punches you in the face repeatedly at volumes way too loud for the rest of the sound effects. It was just such a shock to the system. You felt relief when a song ended. It was mixed with a feeling of trepidation and dread at what monstrosity would come next. However, the game never seems to disappoint when it comes to conjuring up new and painfully bad music. They're so juxtaposed with each other as well as to feel entirely out of place. Sound effects are dire. This is as nice as I can put it. Listen to these. I was being nice, right? HD Rumble ran away when it heard the music. It left the Nintendo Switch and didn't stop running. I think it's somewhere in Western Europe by now, probably watching the World Cup quietly by the pool. Music and sound scores 3 out of 20. If you like being punched in the ears, this one will delight you repeatedly. Imagine if Minecraft had all the colour and life sucked out of it, then someone switched off all the lights and handed you the derpiest gun imaginable. You've just imagined Paranautical Activity. The nautical theme seems to loosely show in the dank and lifeless underwater, we think they were, settings. Enemies look like rejects from a Gremlins movie, and their movements are some of the worst animations I've ever witnessed. They literally mirror everything you do. Credit where it's due, there are at least a few enemy types, but you will see the same ones over and over again. When you finally encounter something vaguely interesting, its moveset will be so unfair that you will wish you got yet another room filled with those bloody blob monsters. In a roguelike first person, surely the guns and weapons will be a redeeming factor. No, they're not. They fire the most pathetic projectiles I've ever seen. Combined with the sound effect, they wouldn't be out of place being produced when a fly does a fart, and you can see where this is going. The game thankfully runs okay, that is all I can say. You can't see what you're doing half the time as it's so dark, but take solace knowing it's running okay, if you could see it. Graphics score 5 out of 20. But SwitchUp, surely it makes up for all of this with incredibly exciting gameplay and a set of killer controls. Right? SwitchUp? Where have you gone? SwitchUp? First things first, you have absolutely no motion controls. None. Secondly, the controls you have are incredibly twitchy. Forget degrees of sensitivity, you go from almost not moving to a massive arc that sends you past your enemy. I found that side strafing and shooting was the only way to hit something. You move at a very slow speed and jumping is clunky. So the aim of the game is simple. Go from room to room clearing them, collecting the coins the enemies drop, and you get the picture. We've seen it done very well recently with Immortal Redneck, which had the best parts of procedural generation with some handcrafted level design. The levels here resemble the inside of a black shoebox, except less interesting. Platforms block your way and seem too low, stairs randomly cross your path, and the whole thing feels incredibly slapdash. Enemies are of the I see you wherever you go and can constantly shoot without reloading. I don't need to reload at all ever and will shoot and shoot and shoot until you either die or I do. Usually you do. Death comes thick and fast, but not in the "man, I was just too slow there, my fault," more in the "that enemy is literally moving faster than I can move, I cannot avoid him, while those other 54 enemies are all shooting homing bullets at me. I wonder how far I can throw my Nintendo Switch" kind of way. I died on entry to some rooms without ever knowing what had happened. There are shops in certain rooms you can use to buy weapon upgrades, if you consider these. Anyway, you most likely won't have enough cash to make any purchases when you do arrive, so I wouldn't worry too much there. There are multiple characters to choose from, with hilarious names such as David Bowie, because he starts with a bow. Awesome. Surely his bow must be a hugely overpowered weapon, as he only starts with the one. Well, let's take a look. With that, I think I will conclude gameplay by saying you can't just copy a game like Enter the Gungeon or The Binding of Isaac, shove Minecraft graphics on top of it, and hope that everyone will love it. It just doesn't work that way. Gameplay scores 4 out of 20. The core mechanics are incredibly poor. There was one life I had where I actually killed a few things through sheer luck, and I almost enjoyed myself for a screen or two, but then a giant flying head that moved twice my speed sucked me to death. Ugh. Controls aren't the worst ever, but are still a twitchy mess, which can be tweaked luckily in the settings, and they score 10 out of 20. The game retails at £5.75 or $7.99. Look, it isn't expensive. But actually, if you look at our list of games you can buy right now for under £5, this game has some serious competition at a much lower price bracket. There are 50 or so unlockable items. The game has potential for extended replayability, were it actually fun. But for me it just wasn't. I really am trying my best to say something positive about this one. I guess the most positive thing I can say is more about the developer themselves and the publisher. Digerati makes some excellent games. This one just doesn't tick any of the boxes on my list, unfortunately. It shoots 1,000 square bullets at my list and then burns it. Value scores 8 out of 20. Paranautical Activity is one of the worst games I've played on Switch. Digerati have, as said, excellent games coming soon and in their current catalogue. I think it's tough to always hit the nail on the head. The nail was missed here, and instead of a hammer, a rubber chicken was used. Paranautical Activity receives a SwitchUp score of 30%. Buy this one for your ex. I think she'll enjoy it. Thanks to all of you who are new to the channel, and for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. See ya!